Come on, y'all haven't found what you're looking for? You're like 17, 18 years old, y'all, and even maybe 14, and you haven't found what you're looking for? What's going on? What is happening here? I remember when that song actually came out the year I graduated from high school. So it was 40 years ago. Almost 40 years ago. Almost 40 years. Whoa, almost 40 years. And it's just looking at you all, I just think to myself, those of you who are graduating, and I remember what it was like to be taking that next step into life, into adulthood. And I remember that I wanted to find, who am I? What am I about? What's my life going to be about? And, in my case, when I reached my 20s, I set out on a mountain bike to bicycle around the world. And the reason that I did this was part of what inspired me was that my grandparents, on my dad's side, after my grandfather, there's a picture of me biking around the world back then. My grandfather and grandmother, after he retired in his late 60s, and he only lived to be 72. And I remember being a little kid, and they traveled all over the world. They did like this round-the-world trip. They'd been saving up their whole lives to see something beyond, what they knew. And they came back, and I remember they brought gifts from China and other exotic places to us. And I thought that was so cool. But then as I got older, I thought to myself, well, wait a minute. I don't want to wait till after I've already lived most of my life and finished my career to go see the world, because what if I discover that, the meaning of life or something like that? And then I think to myself, wait a minute, why, I should have lived my life a whole different way. So I tried to figure out a way to go see the world while I was younger to see if I could find what I was looking for and what I was meant to do with my life. I spent 3 years on the back of a mountain bike, traveling through foreign lands, around people who I didn't speak the same language as them. I didn't know anybody in these places, and I met some of the wealthiest people in the world, some of the poorest people in the world, some of the friendliest people in the world, and some people who were not so nice, but mostly just the most incredible, friendly people. I slept on sheep's pelts on the dirt floor with Tibetan nomads up in the Himalayas. I think you can see a picture of those amazing people who took in this cyclist who they'd never, couldn't imagine, showed up outside their tent. And I stayed with gurus high up in the Himalayan mountains of India. And you can see some of those wild and crazy guys that I met up there. And I even met a woman who wore a necklace of human teeth. Never did figure out why she was doing that. But I crossed oceans and deserts. I supposedly stood where the Buddha was enlightened and where Jesus was born. But I still hadn't found what I was looking for. But then one day while I was meditating, I was in India along the Ganges River in an ashram, a place of study and meditation. And in that time, I was looking within myself. And that's when it hit me. That's when I figured out what I was called to do. I figured out how to use my skills and my talents and my interests and my passions in a way that did something that also the world needs. And that's what a calling is. When we figure out what we love and how what we love and what the world needs when we can bring those together, it's a calling. It may not be our career. It may be just something we do with our lives and some way that we impact others. But when we find that place, that's our calling. And that's what began my journey to become a Unitarian Universalist minister. I realized that the answer that I was looking for was not out there, hidden in a cave, or up in a top of a mountain, or in the desert, but it was inside of me all along. And there it was. But sometimes we have to leave what we know, leave what is familiar to us to discover who we are and what our life is about. Sometimes we have to struggle a little bit and feel lonely and alone and go through some things. And then we begin to find ourselves. There's a wise expression that wherever you are, be there. Oops, excuse me, hold on a second. I'm getting a phone call. No, I'm in a pulpit right now. I'll call you back. Yeah, sure. Okay, that's great. I apologize. This happens sometimes. Actually, there's a couple of texts. Let me check to make sure there's nothing I need to answer. There we go. Okay. You know what? Actually, I've always wanted to take a selfie of myself in the pulpit. So if you don't mind, if you could wave. Thank you. That's great. Okay. I'm sorry, where was I? Oh, yeah. Wherever you are, be there. Oh, wait, hold on. Sorry, one more. Hold on. No, it's a text. Let's see. No, I still have not found what I'm looking for. No, okay, thank you. I'm sorry. Where was I? Oh, yeah, wherever you are, be there. Simone Weil said of attention that attention at its highest degree is the same thing as prayer. That when we attend to something, when we put our attention there, it begins to give us a sense of the value and the sacredness of that which we are attending to. It also gives us a sense of who we are and what we're about. So if you think about it, when we lose something, it's often because we're not paying attention and we just, where did I put those keys? Oh man, I just can't remember where I was, what was I doing, right? And then when we find something or we go looking for something, we end up putting really a lot of attention. We're going, oh yeah, wait, okay, I was here and then I was there, and then we're looking around, down, finding whatever it is. We're getting total attention to try to find that which we want, because attention, what we give attention to, that also grows in our psyche and ourself, and we begin to find what we're looking for when we put attention into that. So I don't know if you've heard the story of a man. He came and he saw his friend. Well, it was nighttime, and he saw his friend. He was down on his knees under a street light, and he's like, hey, what are you doing? And he said, well, I'm looking for my keys. I lost my keys. And he said, oh, okay. So the friend got down on his knees, and he's looking all around. They're looking around for a long time trying to find these keys, and they can't find it. Finally, the friend says, now, are you sure that you dropped them out here somewhere? And he goes, oh, no, I lost them in the house. He said, but the light is so much better out here. The point, of course, of the story is that, it's important to be looking in the right place if we're trying to find something. And when you're trying to find out what your life's about, who you are about, and what you have to contribute to the world, it's important to look inside. It's not about being out in the world, but it's about knowing who you are on the inside. So I want you to remember two things about what to do when you're trying to find something. Number one, we have to look in the right place. To discover our truth, our purpose, our calling, we have to look within. And then number two, we have to look in the right way and to find those things. And in the way to find things is to be present wherever you are. Be there. So to you graduates, and graduate Marvin, I see you back there now. If you remember to do these two things, I feel certain that wherever you go and whatever you do, you will find what you're looking for. Right? As the ancient sage Kalidasa said, for yesterday is but a dream, and tomorrow is only a fantasy. But today, well lived, makes every yesterday a dream of happiness, and it makes every tomorrow a vision of hope. So look well for this day. And wherever you are, be there. We love you wherever you go. Congratulations.
Gonna keep on moving forward. Keep on moving forward. Keep on moving forward. Never turning back.